I grew up in a town so deep in the Appalachian Mountains, you won't find it on any map worth keeping. It wasn't the kind of place people moved to. It was the kind of place you were born into. In the hills decided whether you left or not. Life there looked simple from the outside. A church, a gas station, a one-room post office. But under all that, there were rules. Not written anywhere, not taught in school, but rules everyone knew. And if you broke them, the mountains reminded you why they existed. Rule 1, don't whistle at night. It wasn't superstition, it was survival. The old people said that the sound carried too far through the hollers, that it brought something listening closer. As kids, we laughed and tried it anyway. The woods would answer, not with an echo, but with something sharper, a whistle back, just off pitch, like it wasn't human at all. Rule 2, when the dogs go quiet, you go inside. Our town was full of mutts, strays that slept under porches and chased cars down the gravel roads. At night, they barked at everything, deer, foxes, shadows. But if they all stopped at once, every house light came on, every screen door slammed, my dad would pull me by the arm and say, "Don't ask, just move." Rule 3, don't follow the lights in the trees. We saw them sometimes, faint floating orbs deep in the timber. Not lanterns, not flashlights. They never stayed still. They'd drift, pause, then drift again, always leading downhill towards the creek bottoms. Everyone knew someone who had followed them once. Everyone knew that they never came back, too. Years later, I left that town, went to college 2 states over, and told myself those rules were just folklore, ways that keep kids safe, ways that make sense of the dark. But sometimes, memory doesn't stay put. Last year, I drove back for a funeral. The town looked smaller and quieter, but the rules hadn't gone anywhere. I stayed in my cousin's trailer that night. Around midnight, I stepped out for some air. The woods pressed in just like I remembered. And that's when I heard it. A whistle, thin and sharp, drifting across the ridge. And then another, answering from the other side of the hollow. My stomach dropped. I hurried back towards the door, but before I reached it, I noticed something that made my chest lock up. The stray dogs that always hung around the trailer park, half a dozen of them, were all standing in the gravel drive. Not barking, not moving, just facing the tree line, silent. I froze. Then from the woods came a sound like someone walking heavy through wet leaves, slow and deliberate, too far to see, but close enough to hear. The dogs stayed quiet, not a growl, not a whine, just silence. I finally made myself step inside and lock the door. I tried to wake up my cousin, but she just rolled over and muttered, "Don't mess with it," and pulled the blanket over her head, like she already knew. I sat up all night in the living room chair listening to the slow crunch of leaves circling the trailer, sometimes stopping, sometimes starting again. Around 4 in the morning, there was one last whistle, low and drawn out, right outside the window. By sunrise, the dogs were gone. No paw prints in the gravel, no sign they'd ever been there at all. People always ask why I don't move back, why I don't bring my kids a visit. I don't bother with excuses anymore. Because here's the truth. Those rules we grew up with weren't old wives' tales. They were the only reason we made it out. And I'm not going to give the mountains another chance to remind me what happens when you forget.